All right, we are back with part 2 of our discussion of this really neat Buzzfeed article that we found. It was the 51 best fantasy series ever written. And we've already done 51 through 25. So now we're going to do 24 through number 1.
And I've already forgotten what those other ones were. So
yeah, it has been a little. It's been a little bit of time since we've recorded the first part of this. But yeah, so we're not going to waste a lot of time with exposition here. We're just going to dive right in. Number 24, Outlander, by Diana Gabaldon. My mom loves these books.
Oh, really?
She loves them. You don't know about them at all? They're romance novels, but they're like part historical fiction. It's like this girl. I don't know all the details, and I'm probably going to get this kind of wrong, but it's basically like woman is in love with this guy. She falls back in time to like Scotland, like back in the day. And falls in love with the guy there too. I don't know. My dad actually read these and really liked these, and my dad's not a romance guy. And so, but yeah, I don't know that I would have put this on a list of fantasy, but then I haven't read them. So.
Yeah, maybe there's more fantasy to it than we know.
I also really hate time travel. I mean, really, really, really hate time travel.
I kind of, like, I'm not the hugest time travel fan, but at the same time, I mean, I don't hate it.
It is probably my number one most hated trope. Like it causes more problems than it solves.
And that's 100% true, but that's kind of part of the story a lot of times.
Yeah. All right. Number 23 is A Land Fit for Heroes by Richard K. Morgan. It's described as an exuberant twist on some standard dark fantasy.
You like dark fantasy?
I do. I haven't really heard of these though. Reading about this. This is the guy that did he wrote the cyberpunk novels. The ones.
Oh yes, the cyberpunk novels.
No. This one's getting made into a show. Currently, the Takashi Kovacs novels.
Altered Carbon.
Yes, Altered Carbon.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
what he wrote. All right, cool. I started reading one of his books, but I realized it was like the third book,
and you're like,
and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
And you hate the number 3 moving forward, as we've learned from the most recent podcast.
It says here also the hero is gay, which is a refreshing change. Which Swords Point, one of the top 5 books I've ever read, and it is primarily LGBTQ romance. Yeah. 22. I would put this much higher. The Broken Empire series by Mark Lawrence. It is the grimmest of grimdark. It's grim.
100% up your alley.
Grim. God, it's grim. It's
I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like the one that I've read so far, but I did. But it was just, that's good.
You got to read all 3. You got to read all 3. The payoff is in the end. But I love it so much because it does the best job of, because the main character is arguably a villain. I mean, he's a terrible, terrible, terrible person. Like, the book opens with him raping like a 13-year-old, or like he is a terrible person. And the book never excuses his actions.
Yeah, he even is like, this is pretty terrible that I'm doing this thing. But
it explains it
without excusing
it, and it's done so masterfully. And like this guy is evil, but you can't help, and does evil things, but you can't help but root for him. Like it's amazing. I could definitely see
that though isn't necessarily because it's done exceptionally well, so much as the other people are worse. Like some of the people that you're like rooting for him against, they're just worse than him, which is like
a bold statement. Yeah, a bold statement. Well, actually, like in the second book, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. But not everyone he goes against is bad.
I don't doubt that.
But yeah, so Broken Empire. Fuck yeah, 22. I would have put it in top 5, but that's just me.
I wouldn't put it in top 5, but I think it could probably get in top 15.
Yeah. All right, 21. Raven's Shadow by Anthony Ryan. You've read one of these books, right? Blood Song?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I love that. See, that is one of those series that, in my opinion, missed out on some of the potential that it had. That first book is one of my favorite things I've read.
Huh.
That first book really, real good, in my opinion. Maybe not top 5 favorite books, but
on up there.
It's in conversation.
Yeah.
Very good. And it's not
and
even...
You said you'd read the second book?
I did read the second, and it was... Which is my point. It was first one, amazing. Second one, good. But it's just when you read the first one, you see what you could do in the world that you have, with the characters you have, and the magic that's there. The build after that, you're like... Oh,
yeah.
That's...
I do want to check it out. I'm
kind of annoyed I gave away the first.
Yeah.
The first book.
Oh, you did at that book swap. We did
book swap. Yeah.
All right. Well, at one point I'm eventually going to get there. All right. Number 20, The Fionavar Tapestry by Guy Gavriel Kay. I have not read any Guy Gavriel Kay, but the next book I read, by the time you hear this, I will probably have read or have started Taigana by him. I will probably not read The Fionavar Tapestry, though, even if I love Taigana, because it's 5 students from our world who go into another world, and I don't really like that typically. Although this does sound pretty cool, the way they do it. 19. The Earthsea Cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin.
So I just recently finished the first book, and I wrote a review of it, which you should go read if you haven't. I think at some point I'm going to have to read... Here's the thing. Part of the things I didn't like about it is that I feel like it made a promise that it didn't keep. But maybe it keeps that promise in subsequent books. Because I can't remember the guy's name, but...
Ged?
No. The guy that Ged has a problem with at school.
Oh.
They set up a conflict between him and this other... Jasper, maybe? No, that's...
That... I know you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, but I'm blanking on his name.
Promises fulfilled in later books.
Okay, cool. That's something that I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see what exactly was happening there, what does happen moving forward.
Yeah. You should definitely check it. I don't think it really gets fulfilled. The next book is not going to fulfill that
They're
promise.
fairly short, too.
They are.
I can just kind of...
Yeah, but I've read...
Maybe I'll use them as, palette cleansers.
Yeah.
Stuff because they're short.
Yeah.
Really fast reads, just kind of...
And I think there's 4 of them. So, yeah, definitely. You know what I think is going to be my palette cleanser that I'm going to tackle? Aragon.
They're kind of lengthy, but for you that...
But I mean, they're long, but they're kids. It'll be quick reads, I feel like.
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
From what I remember.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's... I got recommended to read that on Reddit the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like... Because apparently, True Name Magic is part of that. So...
Yeah.
So I want to check that out. But yeah, Earthsea. I've read the first 2. And I think part of the 3rd.
The guy that wrote those books...
The Aragon books?
Mm-hmm. I saw an interview with him with Patrick Rothfuss. That was pretty interesting.
Huh.
Anyways.
Yeah. 18. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis.
I don't ever think I finished those.
I have read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then I tracked down a copy of all 7 of the books. And I was going to start reading them 1 through. Did not like the first book. Did not like...
Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe?
No, the Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe is like the 3rd book.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's the first book.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God! To the internet right now. We're not going anywhere. C.S. Lewis Wikipedia. I could have just put in Chronicles of Narnia.
You could have, but you knew C.S. Lewis, and that's a shorter thing to write.
Yeah. Bibliography. Click into his bibliography. Not nonfiction. God, he wrote so much.
I don't know which order. Number 1. Then it's Prince Caspian. Then it's
The Magician's Nephew. Oh, no.
That's almost the last one. Yeah.
Maybe I was reading... No, I was doing the chronological order. He wrote them in that order, but the chronological order, No,
it's still in the same order. The only reason I know this is because this is a big thing for me.
It's the prequel. The prequel, The Magician's Nephew. Yeah.
Yeah, well...
So that... Yes. So it... Yes. I read it first because it... Chronologically...
Well, that's dumb.
It comes first.
Well, that's dumb.
So we were both correct.
Well, I mean, that was dumb. You should just read them in the order.
Yeah, see, the reading order is Magician's Nephew, then The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, then The Horse and His Boy. The reading order is completely different from the publication order, except for The Last Battle.
Nah. You just read them in the order they came out.
No, I was going in the chronological order, and I don't like The Magician's Nephew. Did not like it even a little bit. So that kind of stalled me, and I think I ended up giving them all away.
I never finished them. I think I read the first, second. I think I either stopped in the third or stopped after the third.
Yeah. I hope we get some angry emails over this.
I don't care.
No, I'm legitimately hope we get some. All right, 17. You've read some of these, I believe. The Sword of Truth by Terry Goodkind.
Oh yeah, read the first 3. That is another one of those that I have very complicated feelings about.
See, I'm reading here. I didn't realize this. It says it's less a fantasy series and more a complex dedication to world building. The Sword of Truth series is 14 books, all of which are designed to be standalone, except for the final 3.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think I agree with them.
Yeah.
With that idea that they're all kind of standalone.
I started reading The Wizard's First Rule. I just never finished it.
I really liked Wizard's First Rule. I liked the second. Basically, it was another one of those things that I was reading in high school when I was hyper emotional, and they had some very
feelsy.
Yeah, and then I was just same thing with the Assassin's Apprentice or the Farseer trilogy.
Yeah,
is that stuff just got too real, and I was in a bad place. I was like, I can't keep doing this. I
don't know. I've always had a vague distaste for the series, and I've never been able to put into words why. I started reading the first book, and I've seen some of the TV show, which I know I heard was awful. But like I didn't even like not having read the book, watching the show, it wasn't spoiled for me.
Yeah.
I didn't even like the show. I don't know. I'm just not super big on
I would
the
read
world.
The first book. Because there's really cool stuff about it that I really liked. The first book is good. The second book, in my opinion, was good. The third book, I was like, eh. And then I started the fourth book, and you know when a book starts to do a thing, and you kind of see where it's going coming, and you're like, I don't like that thing.
Yes.
They were going to do that, so I stopped reading.
That was why I quit reading the Codex Alera books. Yeah, I read the first 3, saw where the series is going, and was like, I don't want to read that. Nothing wrong with the writing or anything like that. It's just I don't like the direction the books were taking.
It's not even that for me, because in this series, and this is so pretty much, it feels like almost every book there's something getting between the two main characters' love, and it's always like someone has a spell cast on them that makes them attract to somebody else, and that makes me so mad. And I'm like, I don't want to read this.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before as well. Like I have quit reading books or watching shows because oh well, this character is now having an affair. Like he spent the first 8 seasons trying to get this girl and now has an affair. Like I'm done with you.
Makes me so mad.
I'm done with this series at that point. Yeah. No, maybe one of these days I'll give it a try. But also, it's like 14 books, man.
No.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Highly like when they say that they could stand alone, I don't feel like they could stand alone from the idea of you don't need to know what happened in the other books before it. But if they're saying each one is a story in and of itself, then that's true.
Yeah.
So if you were to read the first book, that is an entire story, and you can just be like, I'm done with this. I'm done.
Okay.
Because honestly, that kind of is, in my opinion, kind of where that should have ended was the first book. Like I thought it was a good story.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
All right, 16. You've probably never heard of this series. The Harry Potter books by J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Yeah. You actually haven't read them, though, right? Or you read a couple of them?
I did audiobooks of the first 3.
Yeah.
But that's it. And that was literally when I was in high school, and I was listening to it while playing video games, so I wasn't paying super close attention.
I really think you should read them. At least audiobook them.
At some point.
You really should. Like, it's... they're just...
I have complicated feelings about it already.
You're not allowed until you've read them all. Because I think a lot of your issues, I think, are going to get resolved. Not resolved, but mitigated. Like the early books, like those are books that were designed to grow with you. Like the first book.
My biggest issue is just that they introduce.
Oh, the MacGuffins.
Yeah,
oh,
that's my only problem. Like
that's okay.
I can get past like being written for a younger audience. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Well, I mean, they get very like towards the end. They get very mature.
That's actually like that.
Yeah,
that's one of my.
You
told me that's the way it works.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I liked the most about Ruby. Is first season you just kind of establish, and second season it's happy, and it's like, and then things go to shit.
Yeah, no, I really do think you should read them. And also it's kind of like real talk. It's kind of like Rothfuss and Sanderson. Like anywhere you go,
it's so prevalent.
It's so prevalent. It's
part of the lexicon.
Like Lord of the Rings.
If I could only read one of them, which one? Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter, I would say, because you're going to encounter more people who have at this more like our generation and the generation after us. Kind of they learned to read on Harry Potter, kind of deal. Like I think part of the reason fantasy is doing so well now is because of Harry Potter. Yeah, the reason fantasy got to the point it was because of J.R.R. Tolkien. He started it all, but I mean,
interestingly enough. You know what? No, I'm not.
Yeah, you can watch. I mean, you can watch the movies and get the same kind of feel. But I really do think
I've seen all the movies.
Yeah, they stick pretty close. Fans would have gone nuts if they strayed too far. I mean, there would have been riots in the streets. But no, really and truly, you should just read both. But I don't know, man. Just I think you'd have an easier time picking up chicks if you read Harry Potter.
That's
what it's all about. I mean, that's why you read books, right? Is to pick up chicks.
If so, we're doing it wrong,
right? All right, number 15. You're going to quibble with this one. I can tell. Robin Hobb, Live Ship Traders trilogy.
This is
the fact that it's higher than because the last one had.
Okay, so it was on the.
It was on
absolute nonsense. I mean,
but it sounds so much better. It's pirate stories and Tales of the Sea. I love pirate stories and Tales of the Sea.
Okay, Bob. Read them both and then come back and tell me that.
Okay. I won't anytime soon, but at some point I will. I like the idea, but the live ships sound really awesome.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, you might be, of the two of us, you might like it more than
I do love nautical anything.
Well, it's not even necessarily that. From what I remember, and I could be completely wrong, it did feel like it had a stronger plot bent. That's actually not fair because there was plenty of plot in the Farseer trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, one of these days I'll get around to it. But I knew you were not going to like that.
Part of the thing I liked so much about the Farseer is just how the character development of Fitzchivalry.
Yeah.
And since I know you're not as big on character as I am, that might not be as much of a deciding factor. But I've read the Live Ship, and it's good.
But not higher than...
I don't know if
probably 20 spots higher on the list.
No. I don't know if you remember this, but I mentioned there being a book series that basically that made me mad because one of the main characters was essentially Benjamin Craik, which is a character that I made.
He's from that.
Yeah, he's in that, and it makes me so mad. But he is. I would suggest you reading it because he's a main character who's a terrible person, and it's one of those things where he's doing things for terrible reasons, and you're in his head, so you know the terrible reason.
Yeah.
But other people outside keep misinterpreting his intent, so they keep thinking he's a better person than he is, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to use that for my advantage."
Yeah. Huh. That sounds very interesting.
I'm almost positive that's that series.
Okay.
Now I'm second guessing myself, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay. Number 14 is The Inheritance Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. Her name gets a ton of buzz. And I think she crops up on this list again, higher ranked. So the description sounds really cool. A vividly imagined world where gods are slaves and nothing is as it seems. Subverts all the old fantasy tropes in the course of creating a beautiful, rich world of intriguing characters and dazzling moments. So, sounds really cool. And like I said, I see her crop up on a lot of lists. So, 13. Gentleman Bastard Sequence by Scott Lynch. We both read the first book. Both love the first book. Both would put the first book in the top 5.
Yep.
I have not read the other 2, though.
And the other 4 at this point, I think.
There's only 2. We thought that the other day, and we looked.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 2 out. 2 more out.
Well, then I read all of them.
If you like heists, check out the first book. It's
it's
an amazing heist.
Man, the first book. I cannot say enough good things. Like, you know how with music, that first album's so good because they worked on it for the idea for like 10 years before they got to it, and then the second album they only had like a year and a half, 2-3 years.
Sophomore slump.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about these books.
Okay.
That first book is a masterpiece of just.
Yeah.
I can't even just. Again, it would be my favorite book were it not for the existence of Patrick Rothfuss. Like, it's so good to me.
Yeah.
I love that book. But then the second book is just a pale shadow of the first book.
I'm going to get around to reading it. I'm probably going to end up holding off on that until at least the 4th book comes out.
Yeah.
12. Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson.
I do have an issue with the order of these. I'm just assuming they're not in... Are they in an actual order? Like
yes.
Then they're just wrong. I'm sorry. I like Mistborn.
I assume they are because of what's number 1.
I like Mistborn a good bit. I'm sorry, Bob. I refuse to think even you would say that it's better than Wheel of Time. I'm sorry. I know you don't even like Wheel of Time that much.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put this above Wheel of Time.
No.
But that's...
But I said...
that has less... Well, no.
Part of the thing you don't like about Wheel of Time is in this too. The characters just do stupid shit.
They do. I'll be honest with you, the reason I don't like Mistborn is because the setting is such a downer.
Sad.
It's such a downer setting. That's why I don't like Mistborn. I mean, they're well written. I have no problem with that. But and this actually includes all the Mistborn books, including the apparently because it's got Alloy of Law as the picture here, so it's including all of them. I haven't read any of the more modern ones, which I do want to check out. I think I'd like them a lot more. Allomancy is super cool. Really great magic system. Mistborn, far and away my least favorite Sanderson thing. I would put
everything above it.
Yeah, everything that I've read of his above it.
Yeah, but that's also like his most popular, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Stormlight now, but yeah, no.
That third book.
All right, number 11. Never heard of this. The Riddle Master Trilogy by Patricia A. McPhillip.
Yeah, I don't know about that one actually.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it. It says feels like a bit like a contemporary fantasy equivalent to some of Shakespeare's stories, but with shape-shifting monsters, magic, and yes, lots of riddles. I do like riddles. Number 10. I really want to read this series. The Demon Cycle by Peter V. Brett. Warded Man is the first book.
Read the first book. That is a series I think you would like.
Yeah.
I
definitely want to.
But at the same time, I'm not sure because you just got done saying you didn't like how like
super downer the setting was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now here's the thing. Not only was Mistborn a dystopia, it was a dystopia where the world is like dead. Is this a dystopia where the world is dead?
It's no.
Pick one. Pick one.
Okay. It's a world where like, oh hey, do you want to exist? Sorry, you're not allowed because you're probably just gonna die.
Fair. I can deal with that. That's what Foon's like. Yeah, I do want to check that out.
Yeah, I would suggest. I mean, if you use my Audible, like I have the first book.
Let me borrow it.
Yeah.
I may pick it up. I now have an Audible account. So, number 9, the Sword of Shannara trilogy by Terry Brooks. You've read this? No? Your brother's read this.
My brother's read all of them from what I know. This I have a super complicated relationship with because the first book is the reason I'd ever read anything.
Right.
But I've never finished the first book. Reading it myself.
Yeah.
It's only like a 500-600 page book. I've never made it all the way through.
I've never read it. It sounds very stereotypical.
But see, that's not even fair because of the time it was written. Like, I mean, was it stereotypical back then? Maybe. I doubt it. And it was.
I don't know.
But
it says here these are classic epic fantasy books that feel an awful lot like the Lord of the Rings series at times, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It says elves, dark lords, and quest to retrieve mythical swords in order to vanquish said dark lords.
Yep. I liked it, the first one, well enough, but I just for whatever reason I've never managed to make it all the way through.
It's never been high on my list of things to check out. Number 8, The First Law by Joe Abercrombie. I have read all of them.
I have not.
Grimdark.
Yep.
Good. But
I feel like I have to be in the mood for Grimdark.
I don't know. Something about it just... People rave about it.
And you're not there.
I'm just not there. I mean, they're good. They're well written. They're good books. I'm not going to reread them.
I've only read one work by him before. It wasn't that series. And I didn't finish it. I literally got to like the last 30, 40 pages and just stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I think I was in school, so I had things come up.
Yeah.
But I remember I had problems with it, but it was interesting enough to keep me going. And then there was like a character that I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then,
there are some very cool characters.
Yeah.
Number 7, Discworld by Terry Pratchett.
I got nothing.
I've read
about it.
I've read 4 or 5 of them.
But
you really should just go wiki it. It's not really a series exactly, but there are certain books do have overlapping characters kind of deal. Like you can kind of view them as like series within the series. Like there's the City Guard. There's some books about the City Guards on Morkpork. The Granny Witherwack, her books. Like just go on there, see which one of those appeals the most to you, and just pick one book at random and read it. They're quick reads, so. All right, number 6, His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. That's Amber Spyglass and Golden Compass.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That it's that high is ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Huh?
That it's that high on the list.
I've never read it. So.
I refuse.
All right, number 5, which. Okay, the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks.
Yeah, I know of it.
Number 5, that's high. I feel like
I'm telling you, this is ridiculous, Bob. This is, if it were not for what's number 1, I would just slap this down.
Because of 1, 2, 3, and 4, I agree with roughly. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I guess I've heard Brent Weeks' name bandied about, but don't know shit about any of it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's definitely a name that, considering we're trying to get as familiar as we can with the current landscape, and like that's a name you need to know.
Yeah. Number 4, Lord of the Rings. If you're reading a list of the best fantasy books, there's like a 0% chance you haven't read Lord of the Rings. Derek.
Well, I'm not the one reading the fucking list.
True. You really should read it. All right. Number 3, A Song of Ice and Fire.
I like how neither of us have read that either.
I've read the first two.
Yeah.
First two.
Look, I'm going to always say neither of us have read it.
And I'm always going to say I've read the first two.
Worst.
But here's what I will say.
It's been so long since you've read it, you might as well have not read it.
They are so intricate in the fact that he keeps everything on track.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly, having written some stuff that's fairly intricate, that's what's taking him so long. It's freaking out of fucking something up and getting something out of sorts.
I think when people say he's a great writer, I haven't read that much of his actual writing, but the idea
he's an amazing editor.
I was going to say, but the idea that he can keep everything interwoven and it making even remote sense after even just thinking of novels is amazing. Mind-boggling.
Yeah. Number 2. Store my archive.
Yeah, I love the first 2 books. And I'm sure I'll love the third once I finish it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the first 2 books as well. I am now not going to read any more of them until more of them come out. We could actually, you know what we should do? We'll do a third. Oh, I'm springing it on y'all now. There's going to be a surprise third episode to this where we make our list, our top 10 list. We won't do a full 51.
10.
But top 10 list, and we'll compare them. But number 1 is The Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss.
Because it's the best.
Yeah. On this is the best fantasy series ever written.
Yeah.
So, that will be not our 10 favorite fantasy series, 10 best written.
Well, do we want to... Because we're only going to know books that we've read.
Right.
So, chances are...
That we've read. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it between now and then. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so that was the list. Not really much to say beyond that. We've kind of dived through them. If any of these that we didn't read, that we don't know anything about, if you'd like to tell us why we should read them or why we shouldn't, please, you can email us at booksbeardsbooze@gmail.com.
Or if you'd like to, express the fact that the Farseer trilogy is better than the Live Ship trilogy, feel free to write us about that too.
Yeah, you can find us on...
if you go the other way, though, don't write us.
Write me. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at booksbeardbooze.
I love how we have to say that.
Yeah, it kills me. I die a little inside every time. But most of all, check out our blog, booksbeardsbooze.wordpress.com. And follow along. We have just a ton of good stuff on there. If you love, especially genre fiction, we have just a ton of good stuff on there. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this part 2 of now 3 bonus podcast. So go forth and grow a great beard.